All right, so good evening, Wilson. Thanks for being here on time. I'm going to start the class with you. All right, today we need to continue working on steady verbs. Actually, we're going to finish working because it's done. We were only taking a look at some exceptions, right? Because it was about be, have, that they can be action or non-action verbs. This recording. Okay, so today we're going to try to write some examples using action and non-action verbs, and we're going to try to use some of those exceptions to understand the difference between the meaning, all right, that those words could have. We're going to try to work on a review to start today, Wilson. So if I ask you this, how can you answer? What is the difference between action verbs and non-action verbs, Wilson? What do you say?
Good afternoon, teacher. Non-action verbs are used for situations, and I don't know. No, action verbs are used to situations that you are doing, and state verbs or non-action verbs. It refers to I don't know how to explain it.
It's okay so far. I'm going to help you, Wilson, because you're right. You can say simply this, right? Action verbs express action, express movement, something that you can see, right? Real movement, physical movement, or movement in your head, right? But there's movement. But non-action verbs are verbs that don't, right? They don't express action. They express a state, right? For example, the state of being. I am Luis, right? That's a state. That's why the verb to be is a non-action verb, right? Or have is a possession. It doesn't express action. It only states a state, right? And a state is something that describes that thing, but is not describing any action that it's doing. Right, so let's have that in mind. Good. So Wilson, also to finish working with you, Wilson, let's try to remember some non-action verbs. What non-action verbs do you remember, Wilson?
Like, have, agree. Yeah, that's
good. Like, have, and agree. Correct, right? Those are three examples of non-action verbs. Great. Thank you, Wilson. Now, I'm going with you, Daniel. We are reviewing a little bit about non-action verbs because actually we finished taking a look at this. It's only the last part, the exceptions. And we got to see one more time what's an action and non-action verb, right? Let's try to remember some more details with you, please, Daniel. Do you remember what are some non-action verbs and what categories do we use to recognize a non-action verb? Tell me what you remember, please, Daniel.
Okay, as I remember, the non-action verbs are related to states, emotions, feelings, something like that. For example, feel, thought, some words with sense.
Good. What is the tense? That's correct, Daniel. Thank you. What is the tense that we cannot use with non-action verbs?
Could be continuous tense.
Right, correct, right? Any continuous tense. It doesn't matter if it's present continuous, past continuous, future continuous, right? Or present perfect continuous. We cannot use, when they have that meaning, right, the continuous tense form of that one. Great, thank you, Daniel. So with you two, please, Wilson and Daniel, we're going to do the following. Before writing these examples, because we're going to go to write some examples, we're going to try to remember only the categories, all right? As you were saying, Daniel, here we have thoughts and opinions, feelings and emotions, senses and perceptions, possession and measurement, right? Those are going to be the four ones that we need to remember. One more time, thoughts and opinions, feelings and emotions, senses and perceptions, possession and measurement. If you can remember one or two per category, it's going to be good, and you're going to remember the rest just like that. Okay, so if you think of thoughts and opinions, what's an opinion? Something that you can say with think, right? I think that you are right, or I agree with you, right? So opinion, that's non-action. Feelings, emotions, right? I like you, I love that, I want that, right? Feelings, emotions, desire. So again, my recommendation, try to only memorize at the beginning too. Thoughts, opinions, agree, and think. Those are, I think, the ones you can memorize. I'll also believe, perhaps. Feelings and emotions, like and love. With, if you remember those two, the other ones are going to just come. All right. Senses and perceptions, right? Remember that one. Hear, see, look, smell. Okay. You go with your perception. So if you remember, smell could be and look, again enough. And possession, you can remember have and possess, which is very similar. But remember, you can use belong as well, or own, which has the same meaning. Okay, I'm showing you this because now, as we are trying to wait for your partners, it's going to be, no, it's already 6:07. We are going to write some examples, please, Daniel and Wilson. You know that we have this document, so I'm sharing the link. It's very important that we have evidence and we can see how you're working with this. So in the chat, please, you're going to find the link. It's over there. Let's go. Let's open that file, please. Write your names, and you're going to write only one example per category. Okay? It means you're going to write one example for thoughts and opinions, one for feelings and emotions, one for senses and perceptions, and one for possession and measurement. It can be remembered in simple tenses. It can be simple present, simple past, present perfect simple, right? Or simple future. Let's do it, please, Daniela, Wilson, and Larissa. In that document on the file, write one example per category, and we're going to check your examples, all right? Let's give ourselves 3 minutes, and we are going to check that one, please. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, we'll check in 30 seconds. Remember, one per category, one for thoughts and opinions, one for feelings and emotions, and so on. All right, we're checking 30 seconds. All right, so I'm going to see how you're doing. In case we need more time, we're going to give it. All right. So you're missing. Let's give ourselves one more minute. And in that minute, write what you can, and then we finish working together. All right. So here we go. One more minute. All right, so let's check what you get. Again, if you're missing something, we are going to work on that together. Daniel, let's start with you, please, Daniel. Let's read your ideas and we're going to see how they go.
Okay. I remember that movie was such an average movie. She hates when his dad screams while he's watching the soccer games. He looks to be very funny. Let's invite him to the party. The team has enough shirts to train in the morning.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Great. I think we are using this in a very good way, right? I remember, right? It's weird that you're going to say, I'm remembering this. Usually you say, I remember or I don't remember, right? Good. She hates. Yes, it's a feeling that she has. And usually, again, it's a simple tense over there. Good. In this one, I think it's good. He looks, sometimes you say looks in terms of appearance, and you can say directly, he looks very funny, right? He looks very funny. Or you can say also that one, but it's more common to use that structure, Daniel, when you use, instead of looks, seem, right? And you can say he seems to be very funny, right? Seems is better with to be. Looks is better with directly the adjective, all right? He looks very funny. But again, it's not a mistake. And this one, again, this is extra because the verbs are used correctly. As you have another idea, remember that this is a complete idea. Let's invite him to the party. We're going to use here either a semicolon or a period, right? Because that's going to be another complete idea. Then the team has enough shirts to train in the morning. Possession, right? That's it. I don't know if you have any questions about this word so far, Daniel. Let me know, please.
No, teacher.
Okay, thank you. I'm going with you now, please, Wilson. Let's read your ideas, Wilson.
Okay. I agree with my dad yesterday. He knows how to stay good. She loves me and I don't feel it. I prefer be his friend. That cake smells so delicious and I have a lot of money down my bed.
Thank you very much, Wilson. Now let's check the details. In general, I think it's okay, but we need to be careful with some conjugations, right? For example, if you say I agree, right, that's present, but then you're telling me yesterday, and yesterday is past,
Okay, yes.
right? What would it be? What is the past form of agree?
Agree. I don't know.
It's a regular verb. If it's a regular verb, you only need to add one or two letters.
Agreed.
Agreed. Good. Okay. I agreed with my dad yesterday. Now, this is a rule that you're going to be learning with me, Wilson. This is not for speaking. This is only for writing. If you have two complete ideas, you are not going to use a comma like in Spanish. You have to use either a semicolon. Okay, a semicolon is this one. I'm going to write it here. Okay, that's a semicolon, the period and the comma. All right.
Yeah.
Or you can use directly a period. All right, one of those two, semicolon or period. All right, let's stay with the semicolon over there. So it's going to be, I agreed, right, with my dad yesterday. He knows how to say. Now, in this one, what do you mean? Give me, please, a context. What do you mean with the stay good? In what way? In what sense?
Stay good. After be angry in a difficult situation, he knows how to stay better, how to keep
All right.
calm.
Yeah, I think that's going to be better because if you say stay good, it's a little bit weird because you can say stay well, okay, stay well, but also it's better if you say stay calm or to keep calm. I think that's better, Wilson.
Yes.
All right, to stay calm or to keep calm, it's going to be better for that context. Okay, work on that correction. Is very short. In the next one, he loves me and I don't feel it. Okay. Great. Here we have another rule, Wilson, and this is again something you're going to be learning only for writing. As you have she loves, this is a complete idea, and then you have I don't feel it. This is another complete idea, right? Well, how do you know? Subject, verb, complement, right? Subject, verb. That's a complete idea. It means if you have that and you have and, okay, that's what you call a fanboy. I'm going to show you that one. You have to use a comma over there. All right,
Okay.
over there. And after that, this is the end of the second idea. Now you have another idea. I prefer blah, blah, blah. So this is another idea. So you don't use comma to use another idea. As here, you can use, right, semicolon, or you can use period. My advice is going to be period. Okay, in English, you use a lot more periods than you use in Spanish. All right, in Spanish, we use a lot of commas, but in English, it's incorrect to use a lot of commas. And I'm going to show you the rules, all right? And here, this is not bad, but after prefer, you have two options, Wilson. You can say to be, or you can say being, okay? I prefer being his friend, or you can say I prefer to be his friend. If you use only the base form, again, it's going to be incorrect, okay? I prefer be. So it's going to be, again, to be, all right? Or the other option is being. Sorry. And not because it's continuous, okay? Not because it's continuous. It's only the conjugation. That's called direct, right? That one over there, then that cake smells delicious, okay? Smells so delicious, all right? And I have a lot of money. This is possession. I think then it's working good. Let me know, please, if you have any questions about those corrections or recommendations, Wilson.
No, I got it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, teacher.
No, you're welcome. And that's it so far. So if you can also catch up then afterwards, Larissa, you can do it. But for the second part, you can write again one example for category, Larissa. And the ones we have are thoughts and opinions, feelings and emotions, senses and perceptions, possession and measurement. All right. You can do it afterwards, or you can do it for the next class if you want. Okay. Now we're going to go to the next part, and it's finishing the lesson. Yesterday, we were taking a look at this, okay? We're not going to see every exception because this is something extra, but you know that the verb to be can be action and non-action verb, that the verb have can be action and non-action verb. But let's go with more, not that one, that's going to be common. Or actually, let's use, this one is interesting, all right? Smell, taste, think and feel. All right, think and feel. So here you're going to see, also as you were saying yesterday, Daniel, feel It's also possible to be used in continuous forms, okay? But only if you have the correct meaning. All right, and let's take a look at those meanings, please. This one, the first part is going to be for you, please, Larissa. We are going to read it, smell and taste.
Smell and taste. Stated, the bar smells of a smoke. This meat tastes like chicken. Action, he's smelling the cookies. She's tasting the soup to see if it needs more salt.
Okay, thank you very much, Larissa. Only one observation, very small. As you have this in third person, how do you pronounce taste? Is going to be the base form. Now, what is the third person of taste?
Tasted.
But you remember that tasted is going to be past, right? But third person only needs an S.
Taste.
Taste, again, taste is the base form, right? For example, I taste. But how do you say that in third person? How do you make this ES more noticeable? Okay, that's one option. Or if you're speaking, you can only say tastes, right? And put a lot of emphasis in the last S over there. All right, so let's repeat one more time, please, Larissa. Tastes.
Taste.
Okay, thank you very much. So here you have a very, very subtle difference, okay, between smell and taste as stative verbs and smell and taste as action verbs. So let's try to explain this one. I'm going to ask you to explain. And I'm going to start with you, Daniel. Daniel, what's the difference that you see here? When do you use smell and taste as stative verbs? And when do you use smell and taste as action verbs? What do you say?
Okay. An action, as we saw yesterday, when you or do something physically, or in this case with senses. In this case, for actions are smelling or tasting. That could be physically doing that. And in a stative, it is more like an adjective or a property of those nouns or objects.
Great, thank you, Daniel. I think that was a great word, and I think that's the right answer, Daniel. A property, right? That's interesting, because yes, action is when a person is using, right, the nose to smell something, right? You smell, you are smelling, right? You use your nose to do that. So you do that action, right? You're doing that action. Then taste, right? You grab a spoon and you, right, take a bit of soup and you taste it, right? And it's like, right? And you are tasting, you're trying the soup, right? And there's movement. But yes, when it's property, it's not movement, is a property, right? A characteristic or something that is produced by an object. It can be also by a person, right? But it's produced by that thing or that person. It's a stative, right? The bar smells of smoke. This meat tastes like chicken, right? And again, it's not that the bar is smelling, right? No, smells. This meat is not tasting. No, it's not an action. It's a state, right? Tastes. All right. So again, it's really interesting. If you analyze that one, you understand very well when to use simple tenses and when to use continuous tenses. Remember, if you say the bar is smelling, it's incorrect, right? And this is in grammar, right? Grammatically speaking, this meat is tasting is incorrect, right? You don't use it with action or ideas. Now let's go with think and feel, because also think, as we were saying, Daniel, Wilson, and Larissa, think, feel, those are non-action verbs, okay? But you can use them as action verbs with a specific purpose. This one is going to be for you this time, Wilson, please. Think and feel, Wilson. Let's read it, please.
Think and feel. Stated when talking about your opinion. I think that's a great idea. I feel that this is not the best use of our time. Action when using your mind or experiencing emotions or health issues. We are thinking, considering moving to another city. I've been feeling usually tired lately.
Thank you very much, Wilson. Now, this can be a little bit tricky, but again, if you get the idea, it's easy to understand. Just imagine, you cannot say here, I am thinking that's a great idea. No, right? It's not like, it doesn't make sense. It sounds weird. I'm thinking that's a great idea. No, I think that's a great idea. So when you can replace, right, and this is the best thing you can do. If you can replace think and feel by believe, then it's a stative verb. Okay, I think that's a great idea, or I believe that's a great idea. Okay, in that case, think is non-action verb. And if you say, I feel that this is not the best use of our time, or if you say, I believe that this is not the best use of our time, again, then feel is a non-action verb, right? It's your opinion, it's what you feel, all right? It's what you think, what you believe, it's your opinion. It's something that is not an action, right? It's a state, it's part of what you are. But here is not a belief, is something happening in your mind. We are thinking, we are considering, right? Moving to another city, and we've been feeling unusually tired lately. So with feeling, you can mention that. I've been feeling very bad. I've been feeling sick. Okay, but again, it's because it's not opinion, it's a sensation that you got. So with that idea, please, Daniel, Wilson, and Larissa, you're going to let me know first if you have any questions about that one. If not, we are going to do the following, please. We are going to write only two, let's write 3 examples, but like this, Daniel, Wilson, and Larissa. You're going to try to use first smell, all right, as a stative verb and as action verb. Okay, that's the first idea. That's the first big example. So try to give me only one example, Daniel, Larissa, and Wilson, in which you use smell as an action verb and non-action verb. All right, and of course, it can be one example that it's composed of 2 complete ideas or 3 complete ideas. All right, that's the first one. And it's going to be only 2. And the next one is going to be the same, but you are going to use think, all right? Think. First, another example, first as a stative verb, and then as an action verb. Okay, 2 examples, but please, the idea is it's only 2 examples, and in the 2 examples, the first one has these 2 elements, okay, in the same example, and the next example has these 2 elements in the same example. All right, let's do it, please. If you have any questions, if it's not clear, let me know. If not, again, we're going to give ourselves 3 minutes to try to finish this one, and we continue working. All right, let's work on that, please. All right, and I see you there, Paola. This is what we are doing, please. We started doing this, Paola, so that you can join this practice. In the chat, you can find a link, Paola. It's the link to go to the file. Go to that file, please. And you're going to write your name, and you're going to write the following examples, all right? In one example, Paola, you're going to write 2 ideas first you use smell as a stative verb, okay, something that describes the smell of something, right? You can say, right, this place smells bad, okay, the place smells bad. And smelling as action verb, you can say, I am smelling this place. Okay, so in one example, Paola, the two ideas, smell as a stative verb and smelling as action verb. And the second example, the same, but with think. Okay, I believe that you are right. That's a stative verb. And then action verb is going to be, I'm thinking of moving to another place. Okay, and that's action verb. So let's do that, please, Paola. If you have any questions, let me know.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good. So the timer is going to start now. Again, 3 minutes, and we're going to check what you got in those 3 minutes. Okay, in 1 more minute we check, please, and then we'll go to the last part before going to the next lesson. All right, so let's take a look at what you're doing again before going to the next part. We're going to check what you got. Okay, let's see how you're doing. Okay. You're still working on that, but let's check what you got. All right, let's start with you, please, Daniel. We are going to finish working those details together, but let's read your ideas, please.
Okay. I went to a restaurant which is famous for having the best noodles in the town. I remember it was smelling so good. You can imagine how that dish tastes, you should try it. My grandma thinks that it will be good for family have a vacation day every year. I'm thinking the same, so we'll start that next year.
Thank you very much, Daniel. So let's see. In this case, if you remember and you explain that one, remember when is it a stative verb and when is it an action verb, right? And you told me, Daniel, right? It's an action verb, smell and taste. Those are action verbs if you are moving something, right? If you're doing an action, right? And usually it's going to be a person. It's never going to be an object, right? With the smell and taste, if you want to use them as action verbs, it has to be a person, right? I am smelling that one, right? But if you want to say that you produce, what is it going to be then the best option over there? Smelled, right? It's incorrect to talk about objects in the continuous form using smell, taste, and so on, right? Because it's not action. Even though you want to say in Español, right, estaba oliendo, even in Español, that's incorrect, right? You have to say olía, right? But in this case, it's the same. Was smelling is incorrect. It has to be smelled, okay? It smelled so good. Now, we need also one thing then to add here, Daniel. As this is smelled, because smelling is incorrect, how can you use smelling in a correct way, Daniel? What do you say?
What about I was smelling, or yeah, first of all, I was smelling the noodles before tried.
Okay, correct. Exactly, right? In that case, because you are a human being and you actively can do or perform the action of smelling, that one, right? But you can also leave the other one. No, good. It's okay. Great. Very good. I was smelling the noodles. It's going to be okay, Daniel.
Okay.
Very good. And then you can imagine how that dish tastes or that dish tastes, right? Because in this case, it's going to be the dish that tastes like something, right? Good. Now, here, of course, they are going to correct that one as well. Again, I was smelling the noodles, but here it's okay because it's an active action that you're doing, right? And remember, first of all, is the introductory phrase, so it's going to be with a comma, right? So first of all, comma, I was smelling the noodles, and before trying it, blam, 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 and you can imagine how that dish tastes, right? And also it can be taste in general, or if you are only talking about past ideas, it can be tasted, right, in past. And you should try it. That's it, okay? And the first part, that's it. In the next one, my grandma think that it would be, okay, good for our family, bum, bum, bum. Think it's correct over here because it's opinion, right? It's like belief. I'm thinking the same. All right, if it's the process, right, that you're doing in your head, it's also very good, Daniel. I think I have no observations over here. So only in this one, if you're going to use so as a connector for another idea, and if so means como consecuencia or like then it's better to use it only with comma and without the capital letter. Okay, so I'm thinking the same, comma, so we'll start that next year.
All right.
Exactly. Just that one, Daniel. I don't know if you have any questions about this one. Let me know, please.
No, teacher, it's clear. Thanks for the observation.
Okay. Thank you. There you go. So again, be careful, and this is in general. The ideas are always very good with all of you. I know that one. But remember, it's a stative verb, right? You cannot use continuous when you're talking about objects, right? The room smells good, but you don't say it's smelling good, right? Because again, it's an object and the object is not performing an action, right? But you can say, I am smelling the room, and that's an action. All right, so let's go now with you, Wilson. Let's read your ideas, please.
Okay, I'm smelling something weird. Oh no, this place smells awful. She feels that we should go. We are thinking that we must stay here. We won't listen to her.
Thank you very much, Wilson. So I think it's very interesting how you're connecting the two ideas. In number 5 is very good. I can see the connection, right? You are smelling actively, and then the place smells, and that's a state, right?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
Then you have she feels. It means she believes, she thinks.
She
that.
has a bad feeling. A bad
Exactly.
feelings.
Exactly, right? And in the other one, I just have one thing. Here, they are not correcting this, Wilson, but I will ask you something. Here, if you say, we are thinking that we must stay here, can you replace think for believe over there? Or do you believe that that's more a consideration? What do you say? What is the best replacement here, Wilson? To consider that, or to believe that you also should stay or must stay there?
To consider.
Okay, good, exactly. I also believe the same, that the best replacement is consider. So if that's the case, try to work on something a little bit different, Wilson. Why? Because grammatically speaking, in this case, think, it will be a little bit incorrect if you say we are thinking that we must stay here, because it's like something that more than consider, because I agree with that one, it's also your opinion. Okay, it's also your opinion, because you say that we must stay here. But if you want to talk about something that you are thinking, it's not going to be an opinion, it's going to be about only one option, not an opinion. Okay, my idea is going to be the following. Instead of this one, we are thinking that we must stay here. You can say we are thinking of staying here. Okay, so in that way, you are thinking of that idea. It's not an opinion. It's a process that you have in your mind. Okay, so we are thinking of staying here. Okay, and I don't know if you see the difference. The difference, Wilson, is going to be if you say we think that we should or that we must stay here, it's an opinion. But if you say we are thinking of staying here, you are telling me what's happening in your mind right now. Okay, and it's movement. Even though we cannot see it, it's an action that is happening in your mind. All right, that's the only thing there, Wilson. You're using again the punctuation. Very good. I don't have any more observations. Let me know if you have any questions, please.
Okay, that I don't have. ¿Cómo se diría? No lo tengo muy claro el.
The think, the difference between think. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, you can say if you think of this one, Wilson, and then it's going to be with time. All right, these verbs are complicated and they are complex. But again, if you can replace your idea with believe, then it's an opinion. Okay, I think that you should go. It means I believe. In my opinion, you should go. Okay, and that's better, Wilson. If you can replace I think with in my opinion, then think is a stative. Okay, if you can replace I think with in my opinion. But if you want to say now in my mind, I'm thinking of going. It's not my opinion. I'm telling you, Wilson, what is happening in my mind now. Okay, so I'm imagining. You can say that. Okay, it's something you are imagining there in a certain way. All right, yeah. I don't know if that helps a little bit.
Yes, it's much clear.
Great, there you go. Thank you, Wilson.
Thank you.
Larissa, you're welcome. Let's go with you, please, Larissa. Let's read your ideas.
Okay, my favorite store smells like vanilla, and I get out of there with my clothes smelling delicious. You think it's a good idea to travel next month, but we're thinking that it's better wait until the summer.
Thank you, Larissa. Your first example is very good, but here is something happening, or it's happening something tricky, sorry, Larissa. Smelling is good, but here smelling is not continuous, right? That's why it's correct, because this is like a phrase. Okay, so I get out of there with my clothes smelling delicious. All right, and it's not because it's continuous, that's why it's correct. But to avoid this, it can be something that can create confusion, Larissa. Why? Because it will be incorrect to say, for example, my clothes are smelling delicious, right? That will be incorrect because they are not doing an action, right? They only smell. So to try to use the second in the second way, Larissa, instead of the clothes, try to put emphasis on a person that is using the nose, okay, to smell your or something else. So for example, the first part is okay. My favorite store smells like vanilla, and I get out of there, right? But try to tell me something else, Larissa, so that you are using your nose or someone else is using their nose and is smelling that. What can you say to show that idea, Larissa?
And I like
Let's try to say this one. How can you say, y he estado oliendo, all right, mi ropa, all right, he estado oliendo mi ropa todo el día. How do you say that? That you, right? You were using your nose to do that. How do you say that in English?
and I be smelling my clothes every day.
Okay, instead of every day, right? Every day would be todos los días, but how do you say todo el día?
All the time.
Okay, that's way better. Good. So you can say, right? Period. I have been, right? Smelling
my clothes.
Good. You can say this one, Larissa. If you want to say todo el día, literally, you can say all day long.
All day.
All right,
Okay.
I've been smelling my clothes all day long. In that way, Larissa, your previous idea was good, but it's to see the contrast, okay? The store smells stative, right? A state, it's not an action, but I've been smelling using your nose, that's action, okay? It's only to see the contrast, Larissa. What about the second one? Let's read one more time the second one, please.
You think it's a good idea to travel next month, but we're thinking that it's better to wait until the summer.
All right, thank you very much, Larissa. Now, here it happens the same, right? If you realize here, in other words, you use that, okay? And you say, you think that it's a good idea to travel next month. So also this one, Wilson, this can help, and also for you, Larissa. If you can say that, I think that it means that you're giving your opinion. All right, it means you're giving your opinion. In other words, Larissa, you can say, in my opinion, it's a good idea. All right, and it's correct. But if you realize the second part is the same, we are thinking that. So it's also opinion. And the rule says that with opinions, all right, it's not a good idea to use continuous form. So you can only say, but we think that it's better to wait. Okay, because again, you can replace this, Larissa, with, in my opinion, it's better to wait. Okay, so it's the same. But how do you use then, Larissa, if it's the same, this will be incorrect. How would you use think as action? To use think as action, Larissa, you need to tell me, not your opinion, you need to tell me something that is happening in your mind. Okay, right now. What example can you give me with that? Something that is happening in your mind. For example, if I say this, Larissa, I'm thinking of eating now, right? It's like I'm closing my eyes and I'm thinking of that idea, okay? It's happening in my head. That's what you need to tell me. So what idea can you tell me for the second part that shows that action in my mind, Larissa?
Okay.
All right. What do you say?
But we are thinking Travel
And
now.
one more time, please, Larissa.
Travel. No sé. Go now, maybe.
Good. And the best way, again, Larissa, this is going to be also a trick that you can use. If you say, I think that, is a stative. But if you say, I'm thinking of, I'm thinking about, is action. All right. So here you can say, but I'm thinking of traveling now. Okay. Let's try that one, please, Larissa. Okay. But I'm thinking of or about traveling now. All right.
I'm
And
thinking
correct.
traveling or travel now.
No, it has to be, the rule is that you cannot say one verb. After think, you have to use the preposition and then the verb with ing. Okay, so it's going to be, I'm thinking of traveling now. All right, and in that way, you are telling me what's happening in your mind right now. Okay, that would be. Also, as it was for you, Wilson, I don't know if that example also helped, Wilson. Do you have any questions about this new idea?
Yeah, it's more clear right now.
Great, that's better. Great,
Yeah.
thank you, Wilson. Okay, so let's make that correction, please, Larissa, over there, and that's going to be it. Good. There you go. All right, so again, that's going to be the big difference, Larissa. If you say, I think that, it's always going to be opinion. Like, in my opinion, it's a good idea. But if you say, I'm thinking of doing this, it means that you're telling me what's happening in your mind right now. It's not your opinion, it's something that is happening, an action that is happening, not physically, but mentally. All right, I don't know if you have any questions about that, Larissa. Let me know, please.
Okay, no, teacher, I don't have.
Okay, thank you very much. And we are going to finish with you, Paola, please. Let's read your ideas, Paola.
Okay. I was studying when I smelled delicious, so I went to the kitchen to see what my mom was cooking.
Good. Let's keep going, please.
Okay. The second, she managed to come out of the deal smelling of roses. He thinks he can pass the test if he studied all the night. And she is thinking to change the career because she didn't like it.
Right. Thank you very much, Paola. Now let's analyze, all right? First, I want to hear everything, then we see some details. Here, this is correct. Here, you are telling me that you are producing that smell, right? It means you smell delicious, right? You produce the smell. So if I go and I go to smell you, right? You're going to smell delicious, right? Here, you are producing that. So this is a stative verb and it's simple tense, right? So it's correct. The only thing here is going to be, and again, I'm going to give you also these corrections, Paula, that you can use for the TOEFL as well. As this is a complete idea, I was studying when I smelled so delicious. So it means that this is a second set of ideas with a comma, all right, comma. So I went to the kitchen to see what my mom was cooking. But here, because of the context, then the idea is going to be a little bit wrong. Why? Because if you say, I smelled, in other words, is like you are producing the smell. All right? But then you need an object. If you want to make this correct, Paola, you need an object. You smelled what? Something delicious. Because if you say, I smelled delicious, Paola, it means that you smell delicious. All right? So you need something. I smelled something delicious, right? Something in the air. You smelled something, but it's not you, all right? Why? Because then you're telling me your mom was cooking. So I imagine that it was the smell of something else. Okay, that's the first thing. But here then, Paola, you're using a smell as it's an action verb. You're using it in the simple form, but you are using your nose to smell that, right?
Action.
Okay, and again, here the main idea is to use an object, if that's the case. Then, in the second part, she managed to come out of the deal smelling of roses. This is good, okay, it's good. But in order to understand the example, Paola, how can you tell me, using only the simple tense, that she, okay, ella huele a rosas? How do you say that? How can you tell me that idea?
She smell of roses. It's
Okay.
not using ing.
Without ing, right? Because you're describing how she smells. And in this case, she is producing that smell, right? So you cannot use it with ing. So let's write it as in the second part, because that idea is correct. Smelling is not continuous over there. It's gerund, right? That's a different structure. That's why it's correct. But you can say period. And let's write after that, please, Paola. Ella huele a rosas, in the way you believe is correct. Okay? Then before you do that, Paola, in number 3, this is not one idea and this is not the other idea. Here, this is a clause. And this is opinion. With opinion, we are not going to use comma, all right? It's going to be incorrect to use comma. You can leave it just like that. He thinks he can pass. Or the best way, Paola, the formal way is to say that. Okay, but use a comma would be incorrect over there because the two ideas are connected as clause. Okay, so he thinks that he passed the test, that he can pass the test if he studies all night. Good. Instead of all night, my recommendation again is saying all night long could be. All right, all night long. So during the whole night. And finally, then we go to the next part with this one. She's thinking, we think you only can use two prepositions, Paul, and it's going to be of or about. Okay, and they are interchangeable. But if you use in, if you use to or other prepositions, it's going to be incorrect. Okay, so that's the first one. Then after of or about, okay, you have to use one of those, Paola, one of about. After prepositions, you always use the verb in ing. Okay, it's not that the verb is in continuous tense. No, it's only a rule in English. Okay, so she's thinking of or about changing. All right, changing over there. Why? Because after every preposition, you are always going to use the verb with ing. All right, so she's thinking of or she's thinking about changing the career because she didn't like it. I think that's very good. Okay, I don't have any more observations. I don't know if you have any questions about these observations, but let me know, please.
No, it's okay. Thank you, teacher.
Okay, there you go. Don't forget, please, in number 2, at the end, try to write the second idea and try to tell me ella huele a rosas to understand the difference with the first one. All right, good. Thank you very much, guys. Again, it took some time, but it was very important to understand that difference. If you understand that difference, Daniel, Wilson, Larissa, and Paola, then the last part, again, this is going to be for you. It's the same. It's going to be a stative when it's quality, when it's a property, as Daniel was saying, right? That's a very good word, a property. And it's action when you see someone doing something. Okay, we're only going to read this one. We're not going to write examples. Remember, this is extra, but let's read this one with you, please, Daniel. Weight and measure.
Okay, weight and measure in stative. When talking about the quality possessed by something, the suitcase weighs 20 pounds. The surfboard measures 2 meters by 55 centimeters. Action. When a person performs the action of weighing and measuring something. And the butcher is weighing the meat and the scale. The architects were measuring the distance between the pillars.
Thank you very much, Daniel. And again, right, if you see, the difference is almost the same as with smell and with taste, right? When weight and measure are properties, qualities, they have to be a stative verb. okay? And they are never in continuous form, okay? You don't say the suitcase is weighing 20 pounds, right? That's incorrect. Or the surfboard is measuring 2 meters and blah, 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 incorrect, right? Because it's the property of those objects. The objects don't perform actions, right? They only have qualities. So weights and measures, or weighted and measured. Okay, it can be in past, but simple past. But the other one is the butcher, right? Is weighting the meat, right, on the scale. So it's going to be, okay, I'm weighing the meat and this is 5 kilograms, okay, the next meat. So is weighting, doing the action. Or the architects are measuring, right? Are measuring the pillars or the distance between the pillars because they are using a tool to measure the distance, all right? And again, that's it, because all the difference that you're going to see between action verb and non-action verb are going to be related to that idea, okay? Something that can be considered an action that you can see or that you know is happening here, or something that just is a state that describes something, that describes your opinion or a quality of something. All right. If you have some doubt, again, you can let me know. Here you have some extra practice. You can work with these links. Remember, everything is on Google Classroom, and you can work with this one. Let me know, please. Do you have any questions? No? All right. So again, then let's finish with this one. Remember that in the private conversations also, if you have some questions or some things come to your mind, you can let me know. All right, but we're closing then stative verbs, and we are going to work with the next idea and the next lesson, that is models of request. This is very simple. I think we can do this in a few minutes. So let's start with how do you request something, Wilson?
I didn't hear you, teacher.
Yes, I think
Yes.
I had some problems.
Yes.
So let me repeat, please. I'm going to turn off my other devices. All right, Wi-Fi connection. It's updating. Give me 1 second, please. Okay. It should be okay now. So Wilson, I was asking you, what comes to your mind when you read models of request? What is a request, and how do you request something in English, Wilson?
A request is like a petition, and an example, it would be, would you mind, or when you get a chance, da da da.
Good. That's really interesting, and actually that's complex, and that's great. Would you mind? It's a very, very interesting idea to start a petition or request, right? What do you set after would you mind, Wilson? How can you give me a complete example with would you mind?
Would you mind give me, or bring me my coffee?
All right. Okay. It's close. There's only one detail. After mind, right? Would you mind? We need a verb in one specific form. What is it, Wilson? What do you believe? Is it only the base form? For example, bring? Is it the infinitive to bring? Or is it the gerund, bringing? Which one do you think it's going to be the best option after mind?
The gerund.
Okay, we're going to analyze that one. Could be the gerund, right? We're going to answer that one here. Okay, thank you, Wilson. I'm going to stop working with you there. Then I'm going with you, Larissa. Larissa, what other ways do you know to request something, to ask for something in a polite way, in a formal way?
We will, will, can, could,
Good. Let's stay with will and could. Those sounds very good. Let's use will. Will is very interesting for requests. How can you use will for request in an example, Larissa?
will you help me with my homework?
Okay, very good. Great. I think we're working very good there, Larissa. Thank you very much. Will you help me? Right? And using will, it's very interesting and can be something very common in English. All right. It sounds that it's future, but it's not future. All right. It's not a future idea. It's request. All right. It's request. Good. I'm going to stop working with you over there. We're going to go to the next part directly. Models. Let's read about that one, please, Paola. Models.
Models. We use the models of request and offers can, will, could, and would to ask for things, make offer, invite people, and order in a restaurant. These models all have the same basic meaning, but some are more formal than others.
Thank you very much, Paola. Let's only repeat this word, please. This A is going to be more A over here. So this is going to be basic.
Basic.
There you go. Thank you. So again, you can use what you were saying, Wilson, is again very interesting, is complex. And I think we have some examples at the end over here. Do you mind or would you mind? All right. And there are two ways to use those ones. One can be with a verb in a certain form and the other one with condition, if. All right. So we're going to analyze that one again later on. But here, let's only try to focus on can, will, and could, and also would. Okay. Can, will, could, and would. Let's go to the next part. Okay. Remember those models, please. Can, will, could, would. The next part is going to be this chart. This only shows levels of formality. Okay, so you have less formal, can, will, sometimes. More formal, could and would. And very formal, and this is also under certain circumstances, will, as proposal. Okay, as proposal. So it can be not formal, but in some cases, will can be very formal. Let's go to the next part. You know that with base form, all right, you only need the form of the basic form of the verb, right? Will, oh, sorry, it's going to be, or it's going to be bring, or it's going to be eat, right? We don't need to use to, and we don't need to use ing with these models. Okay, let's just have that in mind in the formula. Let's work first with these examples, please. And Daniel, this is going to be for you, please, Daniel, making requests.
Okay, we use models of requests when we ask someone to do something or when we want something. Will you pass me the salt? We put please after the subject or at the end of a sentence to make any request more polite. Could you please open the door? Can you wait a moment, please? We put not before the verb for negative requests to ask someone not to do something. Would you please not smoke here? Can you not use your phone in the library?
Great, thank you, Daniel. So very basic ways of making requests. Okay, will you pass me that? Could you please open the door? Can you wait a moment, please? Would you please not smoke here? Can you not use your phone in the library? Right, so you are asking for something. Okay, you are making requests. All right, requests. So let's try to work with some ideas. Okay, we're going to try to imagine some situations, and I'm going to start with you, Wilson. All right, what kind of requests, all right, what kind of requests can you make at the university? What comes to your mind? If you are at the university, what kinds of requests can you make in general? Give me at least two, please, Wilson.
With will or can or could or whatever. The microphone is off.
Sorry, yes, can be any of those, please, Wilson. Will, could, can, with the one you feel comfortable. Okay, two requests that you would make at university.
Okay. Can I borrow a pencil? It's correct.
All right.
Is
If
correct?
you say
Yeah.
borrow, yeah, again, it's a level of formality, right? If you are like saying that one to someone that is your friend or something like that, can it's going to be okay. All right, let me just answer that one. Can I borrow? But it's okay. It's a request, right? It's a very simple request that you can make to a friend or someone that is near you. All right. So can I borrow a pen? Is correct. That's one. One more, please.
Would you please okay, let me copy your homework?
All right, that's a special request, right?
Yeah.
But it's a request, right? It's something that shouldn't be done, but it's a request. Okay, good. Can you or can I borrow that? Can I borrow your pencil? Would you let me copy, right, the homework, please? I didn't have time to finish it, so please let me do it. All right, so it's request, right? And again, the only difference, what is it going to be the only difference, Wilson? This is my question for you. What's the only difference between using can and between using would?
Would it's more formal, more, I don't know, it's more
You were saying, Wilson, right? Your microphone is up, but yes, it's more formal. Okay, that's going to be the main difference, right?
Yeah,
Can is less formal, and could and would are going to be more formal. All right, good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wilson. That's it.
Thank you, teacher.
Now, I'm going to you, please, Larissa. The same Larissa, this time not at university, but let's imagine that you are at the hospital. All right, at the hospital. So what kinds of requests, all right, can you have at a hospital?
Pues, maybe will you please not noise here?
Instead of noise is not going to be a verb, so try to use a verb before make, to make noise.
Yes.
Okay, one more time, please.
Will you please not to make noise here?
Okay, not, and as you're using would, you're not going to need to use to directly, not make. Okay, will you not make noise here? Good, that's one, very good. What about another one, please? The last one, Larissa. One more request at a hospital.
Okay. Could you please search the doctor? Search.
All right, search, you can use... Oh, okay, use the last one. One more time with the last one, please, Larissa.
Could you please looking for the doctor?
All right, again, only one detail. Remember, before, you don't say to make, and here you don't say looking. you only use the base form. Okay, so it's going to be look.
Look to the doctor.
For, right? Look for the doctor.
For the doctor. Okay.
So one more time, please, with that correction, Larissa.
Could you please look for the doctor?
Very good. There you go. All right. So remember, it's always going to be the base form after will, after could, after can, and after all models that we use, except for ought to, right? Ought to is the only exception. But then after all models, we are going to use the base form. All right.
Okay.
Good. Thank you, Larissa. There you go. And I'm going to finish because as Daniel read this one, I'm going to work with you, Paola, all right, to finish. And Paola, with you, you're going to tell me, please, 2 requests that you would make here, all right, in online classes. So it can be a request that I can make or a request that you can make, Paola. 2 requests, please.
Okay. Could you please repeat?
Good, good. Could you please repeat what you said, right? Or could you repeat that? Remember, it's always better if you have an object after the verb, right? If it's something specific, so you can say, could you please repeat it, or repeat that, or repeat what you said? Okay, so one more time with that adding, please, Paola.
Could you please repeat what you say?
Okay, very good, right? What you said. One more, please, Paola.
Will you would you explain can you explain again this topic?
Very good. Again, my other recommendation there is the order. It's okay. So you can say, can you explain this topic again or one more time? Okay, with only that change, please, Paola, one more time.
Can you explain this topic?
And you say again or you say one more time. One of those 2 options at the end, please.
Can you explain again? Can you explain the topic one more time?
Okay, good. Exactly. Okay. And again, that's recommendations that I give, Paola, because what you say, it's okay. But in writing, I'm helping you writing and speaking also, if you want to be very formal, it's better to use again and those words at the end of your idea. Okay, so you can say, please, can you repeat what you said one more time? Can you explain that topic again or one more time? It's better to locate them at the end of your idea. And first you use the main words, okay? The word repeat or the word explain, and then the object, the topic, or what you said. And then at the end, extra ideas like again or one more time. All right. I don't know if you have any questions about that, Paola. Let me know, please.
No, it's okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Paola. And to finish, and before going further, over here, Wilson, I was forgetting, as for requests, you need to ask this to someone else. If you say, can I borrow your pencil, would be okay, because actually the other person is going to do something. But if you want to be like very, very detailed in requests, you can change that one to lend, and you can say, can you lend me? So that you're giving more emphasis, all right, to the other person. Instead of you doing something, it's going to be you asking the other person to do something for you. All right, that's also something extra.
So it's like a synonym?
It's the, if you say, can you lend me? It means that you are going to do the action for me. Okay, but if you say, can I borrow, it's the same, but the action is performed by me because I'm asking you to give me something.
Okay.
All right, it's the same. So you say, can you lend me or can I borrow? Both ideas express the same idea, Wilson. That's why I told you it's correct. But if you want to put more emphasis on the person that is going to do something for you, it's better to use lend and you instead of I. All right?
Okay.
Great.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you. Good. So requests, right? You work with request every time. That's great. Great. Thank you, Daniel. So I think we work with all of you, right? Daniel, you read this one and your partners gave me some examples. We have more. Let's try to work a little bit more with answering requests. And I'm going to work with this one, please. Daniel, with you. One more time, please.
Okay. Answering requests. We usually answer requests with can, will, and can't. We generally don't use could or would in short answers. And we try to avoid using won't because it sounds impolite and angry. Can, will, could, would you please come inside? It's very cool out there. It's very cold out there. Yes, I can, and yes, I will. No, I can't. If we use can't in a short answer, we often use sorry or I'm sorry to make it sound more polite. I'm sorry, but I can't.
Thank you, Daniel. So let's interact here a little bit more. You know how to form requests. Remember, always the base verb. Now you are going to request something to each other. All right, for example, Daniel is going to request something to Wilson and Wilson is going to reply. And you're going to try to reply, please, with negative ideas. It can be one affirmative and one negative. Okay, let's do that. We're going to do that. So, Daniel, we're going to keep working with you, please. Let's make one request to Wilson, please. And Wilson, this request is for you, and you're going to answer in a negative way. So what do you say, Daniel? What can you request to Wilson?
Okay, Wilson, can you please lend me $10?
I'm sorry, but I can't do it.
Okay, good. It's good. Now remember, if you say I can't, often, right, to be polite, you have to give sorry, or more than sorry, try to give a short explanation, right? So that Daniel doesn't feel bad about it. So what explanation or what extra thing can you say, Wilson, to be a little bit polite about it?
I'm sorry, but I don't have any dollar right now.
Good. And in that one, instead of dollars, my recommendation is to use the idea of money, right? So you can say, sorry, but I don't have any money with me right now. Okay? It's more common to say dollar because if you say dollar and you say any, you have to use it in plural. And you have to say, I don't have any dollars with me, right? But that's too specific and it's unnecessary. So it's better directly if you say, I don't have any money with me, or I don't have any change with me. All right, and then perhaps Daniel is going to understand. Okay, so one more time, please, Wilson. Let's give your answer one more time.
I'm sorry, but I can't. I don't have any money right now.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Wilson. Now, the same with you, please, Wilson. Request something to Daniel, and Daniel is going to answer in a negative way, but giving a polite explanation.
Okay, Daniel, can you please bring my book?
I'm sorry, but I can't because I don't know what can I say. I have to go to another place right now.
Yes, again, right? Sometimes, even though you give the explanation, I know it feels like awkward and so on, but again, it's always good to do it. And you can always, as you are talking about his book, right? Wilson, it's his book. How can you propose a different day, Daniel, to Wilson so that he feels good and he feels that you are going to return the book? not today, but later on. How can you propose that one, Danny?
Oh, sorry, teacher, can you repeat it again,
Yes,
please?
yes. As Wilson is asking for his book, right? You cannot bring it back today. But how can you propose the idea of returning the book a different day in order for Wilson to be like, okay, he's going to give me the book back. But how can you propose a different day to give him the book?
All right. Well, sorry, Wilson, but I can't do it now because I have to go to another place, but I will bring you tomorrow morning.
All right, good. You can say, I will bring the book, right? Or I will bring it tomorrow morning, right?
Okay.
Good. Thank you, Daniel. Now let's go. I'm going to work with you girls, and then I'm going to work with one more interaction. So Larissa, in this case, you are going to request something to Paola, please. And Paola, again, you're going to answer in a negative way, and you're going to give a polite explanation.
Okay. Could you go with me to the game?
I'm sorry, but I can because I have to do homework.
Good. I have to do some homework or my homework, right? Very good. I think it's good. Now the same, please, Paola. Request something to Larissa, and Larissa is going to answer in a negative way and give a short and polite explanation.
Okay. Larissa, could you please help me with Larissa, could you please help me to do I don't know to do a cake?
I'm sorry, but I can't. I feel bad right now.
All right. Okay, that's a good explanation. The only correction there, that is, it's okay. Remember, Paula, instead of do a cake, is going to be make, right? It's going to be make a cake. That's the only thing. All right, I think it's working good, guys. Now, we're going to do two more, and it's going to be one for you, please. We're going to work now differently. Daniel. Now, Daniel, you're going to ask one question, one request to Paola, and Paola, you're simply going to answer in an affirmative way. All right, let's do it, please, Daniel. One request, and Paola, you answer positively.
Okay. Paula, would you like to work in the homework together?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right, that's interesting. Remember that that's great, Paola. We don't use would, right? Even though the question is with would, you can say yes, I will, or yes, I can, right? Good. And also with would, when it's request, would you like, it's like preference, all right? It's like preference, Daniel. It's better if you use would for request, instead of using like, you use the main verb directly. Would you work with me? All right, or would you work with me, right, with this homework? In that way, it's going to be more a request more than a preference. Okay, so let's repeat that question, please.
Paula, would you work with me with the homework?
Good, right, and the answer is positive. Great, thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Paola. Now, Larissa, it's going to be you. You're going to ask something again to Wilson. Work with a request, please, with Wilson. And Wilson, you're going to answer again with an affirmative answer.
Will. Sorry. Can you teach me? Can you teach me French?
Yes, I can.
There you go. All right, as simple as that. Thank you, Wilson and Larissa. Again, no observations over there. Remember, as you can see, this is very simple because it's only a set of questions that you ask when you want someone do something for you. All right. So could you join me? Right. I'm going to a concert. Could you join me? Can you go with me? Right. So I'm asking if that's possible. I'm requesting something. Or can you please close the door? Can you please close the window? Could you please close the window? Would you please close the window? Right? That's going to be the difference again. If you use would like, which is correct, it's going to be the preference. But if you say would you close, again, it's not about preference. It's not about like that decision. It's only a request, right? Would you close the window, please? Would you go with me? All right, again, it's like a request. And you can say, yes, I can go with you. Even though the question is with would, remember, please, you don't say, yes, I would go with you. No, you say, yes, I can go with you. Let's go. Because the meaning is request. Okay, it's not possibility, it's request. Let's keep working. Some final examples to finish, please, today. One of them, and the last one is going to be with offer. All right, offer. This is, here you can use would like. As you can see, this is different. This is an offer for preference. Wilson, let's read this one with you, please, Wilson. Offers.
Offers. We use can and could when we offer to do things. Can I help you? Could you get you something to eat? We can also make offers by asking what someone would like. Would you like a soft drink?
Great, thank you, Wilson. So what is the main difference here? Look, there is a big difference. Here in request, you are asking someone to do something for you, right? Would you please close the window? Okay, so you please go and close the window. Is that possible? Right? You're asking someone else. But in offers, you are offering yourself or you are offering something, or you're asking something in the way that you are going to give something to that person. You are not going to receive, you are going to give. Okay, here you have to give. So can I help you? And remember, it's not could you, it's going to be could we. Could we get you something to eat? So I'm offering. Or in this one, right, as in the previous example with Paola and Daniel, would you like? And again, it's an offer, right? It's not that you're going to do something for me. It's something that I'm offering you, and I'm going to give you that. All right, so to finish now, again, we're not going to write. It's only going to be speaking. Let's offer something. All right, anything that comes to your mind. Imagine that you work at a restaurant or that you work at any place. All right, I'm going to start with you, Daniel. What offers, give me please only one offer that comes to your mind related to any field.
Okay. Would you like to watch a movie this weekend?
Okay, very good, right? That's an offering for, could be a friend or someone else. Great, thank you, Daniel. So that's again in, let's say, the informal field with friends, and it's very good, right? Any field I said. Now, Wilson, if I ask you this one, but in your case, Wilson, let's imagine that you are in a formal place, okay? And you need to help people in a certain way. What can you offer in that context? Any context that is formal.
Formal, more formal, with could or would.
Could be with one of those, exactly. And offering something that is related to any formal situations.
Okay. Would you like bring you a spoon for your soup?
Good. Or you can say directly, right? In order not to use a verb, because if you realize it feels a little bit off, you can say directly, would you like a spoon for your soup?
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Let's repeat that one, please.
Would you like a spoon for your soup?
There you go. Thank you, Wilson. The same with you, please, Larissa. One offering that is related to a formal situation. It can be a restaurant, an office, something in which you offer something to someone.
Okay. Will you like go with me to dinner?
Okay, good. Only one thing is missing there. Remember that after like, if you use a verb, in this case, it's not only would, it's after the verb like. After like, you use infinitive or gerund. So how would it be, Larissa?
Will you like going?
One more time, please, Larissa.
Going? Will you like going
Going.
with me to dinner?
Okay, good. Now, but one thing, remember that it's a good offering, Larissa, but remember that you are supposed to be in a formal place, okay? For example, at a restaurant. And imagine that you are offering a service. For example, pretend that you work at a restaurant or pretend that you work at an office. What can you offer to people if you work at a restaurant or if you work at an office, Larissa?
Will you like eating the new plate?
Okay, the new dish, right? It's better, the new dish.
Yes,
Good,
that's
perfect. Thank you, Larissa. Both examples were correct, Larissa, all right? It's just that we are using now informal situations. Good. Would you like eating or trying out our new dish? Great, right? The difference between dish and plate, plate is mainly going to be only the object, right, on which you serve the food. But dish involves everything, right? Great, thank you, Larissa. And let's finish with you, please, Paola. But with you, Paola, we're going to use could. All right. How can you use could? As you can see, you're going to mainly use it with I or we to offer something, Paola. Anything that comes to your mind.
Could we get you a coffee? It's correct?
It is correct. If you are, for example, in your house and you are with your husband or you are with your family, okay, and you have a guest, it's like you as a group, you are offering something to that person, right? And you're saying, hey, could we get you, right, something to drink? Could we get you something? Or again, if you are offering anything to another person, you as one person or you as a group, it's going to be correct. Okay, so let's repeat one more time, please, Paola.
Could we get you a coffee?
Could we get you a coffee? Good. Something to eat, something to drink, a coffee. Could we get you some foods? Any of those is going to be offerings. Okay, thank you, Paola. That's going to be it. And that's it. All right, today we're going to be working up to this part. Remember, please, then the difference. Again, if you use and you work with request, you ask someone to do something for you. And remember, if you use would, could, will, and can, you have to mention another person. All right? Would you close the door? Can you close the door? Could you close the door? Will you close the door? All right. So imagine that you are asking if it's possible that that person, all right, performs something for you. But if you use can, could, and would for offerings, you are offering something for that person, right? Can I get you some food? Could I get you some food? Would you like some food? Would you like to eat something? Right? That's going to be the main difference. And again, just be careful with would mainly. All right. If you use would, only would is going to be request. But if you use would like, is going to be offering. Okay, that's it. Do you have any questions up to this part? Let me know, please, guys. No?
Okay.
All right. Good. So to finish, please, as always, it's 7:40. That's good. Just in time. Let's complete, please, today's survey. Thanks for being here today, and I'll see you tomorrow for our conversation. Have a good night.
Thank you, teacher. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. Take care.
Bye, teacher.
Bye-bye. See you.